Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Thomas. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm good. It's nice to be on the Voices of New York.
Thank you for being here.
It's good. It's good to be here. So I want to tell you about the new movie that I did.
Great.
It's called Pot Parade. It's a documentary film, and it's 36 years after the Stonewall riots in New York City. And I decided June comes around every year. What could I do to make a difference in the world? So I decided I would make a film and give a voice to each individual person that lives in each community. There's 8 communities profiled in the film, so you get to know all of the different towns that have their own Pride event. Staten Island has their own Pride event, Jackson Heights, Queens, Fire Island, Long Island. There's all these different little pockets that have taken over after the Stonewall riots of June 1969.
So how was that? How was that experience for you?
It was really interesting because what I've seen of New York City through the Pride event is you see a float going down 6th Avenue with someone in their underwear. And sure, that's indicative of the Pride event, but it's not completely what Pride is all about. I mean, there's someone that comes out of their apartment to see an event, and that person might not be in tight spandex shorts, and then, you know, that's not their story, but that's all they'll see in the media. So I wanted to sort of like just look at each individual person that goes to their event and each individual organizer. POP stands for People of Pride. You have a person that organizes an event and you have a person that attends an event.
So it sounds like you had some unexpected stories that came out of this for you.
Unexpected stories, I don't know. Unexpected. I guess in casting that would be true. You know, when I found out that people of religious descents, people of the cloth came and responded. And gender-wise, it was interesting. Everyone sort of stepped up to the plate. You know, transgendered people stepped up. Men stepped up to the plate. Women stepped up to the plate. I had a hard time finding bisexual people, though. In New York, who would ever guess? Who would have ever guessed?
Definitely. So was this was a journey for you as well?
I would say a journey. It was more like a vacation. I just got to enjoy the ride with everybody, to some degree. A vacation, yeah, it's shot through the month of June. That's a fair thing. And I want to show you a clip from the Long Island Pride Parade, which is kind of odd for a profile of New York, but the interesting thing is that even though it happened here in New York on Christopher Street, the ripple effect went down the Long Island Railroad, and people in Long Island celebrate their own version of Pride. And Stephen, the historian who we're going to meet, talks a little bit about how far they are in proximity from Stonewall. Their fight and struggle to get their own Pride event.
So it's good to think about the history, and this is a reminder for everyone.
It's a reminder, I would say not necessarily. It's more like a wake-up call. Because, like, what can you honestly do is the question. And it's like, for me, I can give a voice to people and they could now talk. And for other people, well, for them, they could show up. And that's what Steve, you know, does for his group. And let's go to Long Island.
We are about 50 miles from the very site of Stonewall. And the similarity is that, just like in 1969, where the lesbians and gay men that fought back for the simple dignity of just being at a bar, where, I don't know if you remember back then, if you were at a bar and the police came in, there could be no same-sex dancing. They would flash a light and you would have to immediately look for someone of the opposite sex and couple with that person, otherwise they could actually close the bar down. They raided the bars many, many times. The similarity between that and 1991 was that we wanted the simple right to express ourselves through a Pride parade. So we started sending letters out to all the different townships in Nassau and Suffolk County. Everyone denied our request except the town of Hempstead, which said we could march in a deserted industry court on a Sunday. So we said no. So as time was going on, it was getting closer and closer to June, we came upon Huntington Township. We applied for Huntington and we got rejected. We decided that we were going to stay and fight. And so what we did was, with the help of the American Civil Liberties Union Suffolk chapter, we initiated a lawsuit in federal court, and we sued the town of Huntington Highway Department for the right to march. It was very David and Goliath-like, and we won. and no one was more surprised than us, this little group of lesbian and gay people suing this huge entity, Huntington Township, and we won.
15 years. Yeah, we were just talking about how long did this go on. It was 15 years. And it goes real fast. Seems like it was about 5 years ago. And my partner, Ann, who I was with for 10 years, was the first woman to walk through this, and what a difference. All the straight people lined up outside the bars and harassed every single one of the gay people that walked through the streets.
So at that first parade, we had about, according to Newsday, we had 800 marchers with 3,000 spectators. And it was so cool. But on the rooftops, there were SWAT teams. It was just, we were excited, but we were scared because we thought, what is this, SWAT teams? When we turned the corner onto Main Street from New York Avenue, there were protesters, the first set of protesters, and we realized, you know, we didn't know if there would be problems or would be hurt, but we were willing to take the chance.
It scared me. And I'm ashamed to say, my partner marched in it, but I didn't march in it. I'm ashamed of that. I really am. It took me a few more years to be ready to say I'm gay. But that's why she was my partner, because I admired her.
So as a New Yorker, what did you find interesting about the Long Island parade?
Long Island Parade as compared to the Manhattan Parade. The Long Island Parade, it really feels like a backyard grassroots event, even though it's, you know, they've got their own MC, they've got their own parade committee. It's much smaller, and it's, you know, you see families sitting on the side of the road clapping, and a lot of blank spaces with people watching.
So it was a more personal experience compared to the New York parades.
Definitely more personal, but what's more interesting is, like, not far from Huntington, Long Island is the Fire Island National Seashore. So I want to show you a clip from that as well. Because we're talking a lot about 1969, 36 years after the Stonewall riots, the community that I profiled here in Cherry Grove was an out gay community before the Stonewall riots. So it's kind of interesting to think, like, all of this happened on Christopher Street in June of '69, and beforehand you could get arrested for dancing with someone of the same sex, and it was just a horrible existence for humanity to live in that environment. But Cherry Grove Fire Island, which has only had this parade running for, say, 6 years now, their event, it almost isn't necessary because they were gay before it was even legal to be gay out in public. So I want to show you the footage shot in Fire Island. This is only their 6th event, and probably no more than 12 people march in it, but it's really profound, and I really enjoyed being there.
And there's this sense of, like, as soon as you step onto the ferry and everyone's just sitting up there, I mean, we may not be talking to each other, but there's this, almost like this bonding. It's hard to describe it, really. But you're all there. We all know about the struggles that we're leaving behind on Long Island, and we're going on over to Cherry Grove together. This, you know, 15-minute ride over. And it's a beautiful ride. So it's like, you know, if one person yells a joke out, it's like everyone's sort of there with it. You know, it almost instantly happens. It's like just sort of magical, I guess. And then once you're pulling into the dock of Cherry Grove, you see the flags are up there. You see the people sort of lining up along the shore, and it's like, wow, I'm about to go down there. I'm about to, you know, get into it.
I'm going to the Gay Pride Parade. I'm going to be the first heterosexual woman to win the parade.
The boat just got in 3:55, and the crowd is forming for our, I think this is the 6th annual Gay Pride Parade in Cherry Grove.
Mother Pearl.
There's not many transgendered out here, but I feel right at home because everybody knows me, everybody, and I've been out here for a long time, and I don't know, I carry on, I guess, and have fun, and I feel comfortable with myself, so people tell me that they're comfortable with me. When they want to know about the transgendered community, they can come and talk to me. I don't think I have that, whatever it is that says, stay away. You know, don't ask me any questions. I think I'm open enough that I think I invite people in to ask questions.
We can bring to the parade something that we do need to talk about. And a lot of gay people who are, well, I'll speak for myself. You know, I'm very disheartened. It's very hard for me to be patriotic with George Bush in office. You know, I'm just gonna say it. It's just very disheartening. And so for me to see another gay person who is patriotic, I think I sort of need to see that.
Well, you got to know something. It's first of all, it's the flag. It's the flag that's first. And that's what, even in a moment on Gay Pride, the flag that it's being an American and being in our country of freedom. That's what it's about. It's every holiday would not be a respectful holiday if that wasn't the first note.
Yeah, so it's important to see another gay person holding the flag. Because, there's that little bit of hope left. Like, yeah, we are going to get through this. Hopefully, we're going to survive this struggle, with the threat of the amendments to ban gay marriage in America. That's really serious. That's major damage to this country that our president is causing.
How do you see Pop Parade evolving in the future?
I would like to become a parade specialist and be flown around the world after doing Pop Parade and sort of look at other parades. But honestly speaking, I would like it to be put into a historical perspective so people can say, hey, this is what was happening in 2005, the year that I shot it, because we may not be changing the world at this point like we did in 1969, but each individual person that shows up to that event, gets a media presentation on TV, could save a life for some kid sitting in Iowa that feels like they're the only person. And to get that out there in a historical way so people can look at it a few years from now and say, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? That's what I'm hoping will happen with this.
Some people question the future relevance of parades like this.
I've actually talked to quite a few people, and they said that maybe, in the future we won't need a Pride Parade. And in that case, it'd be great to have this as a library archive. That's where I'd really like to see Pop Parade going, into a library where someone can say, people were treated differently and they had to stand up and march down the road to demand equal rights. When was this? I would love for that to be the movie where people can refer to, and we live in a completely different world.
So the success or the goal could be obsolescence, ultimately.
Yeah, I think that the movie will ultimately knock on some people's doors, whether they're LGBT or not, and say, hey, look, get to meet some people. And then, how could you hate someone once you know them? That's the goal of Pop Parade.